for a roll call.
Blunier.
Here.
Hilliard.
Here.
Leach.
Here.
Menold.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If you join me in pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There is no public hearing, presentations, or special report, but we do have public comment for anybody who'd like to talk. Just come up to the podium.
While you're approaching, I'll just provide a quick announcement as a reminder of the rules for public comment, which are adopted by ordinance for the village board. Public comment provides members of the public the opportunity to address the board. It's not a question and answer session, and generally the board doesn't respond to any particular comment during the course of the meeting. If anybody in the board has an answer or response, that happens outside of the meeting. So you have 5 minutes to provide that comment. The board does ask for you to identify yourself at the beginning of your comment.
Thank you. My name is Ann Vanderborn. I own a building at 316 South Main. Must admit, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before. I've had this building almost 45 years and I've never had a complaint before. And somebody has called and said, I have rented to Amy Vance, who has a dance studio, and they told me I'm zoned wrong for that, so she has to leave. So I looked up on Amazon, and my little map said that she's renting now on Jefferson at B2, and I'm on Main at B2, so I thought, what is the problem? So I called then Brad, and he said she just can't be there. And I'm a little confused because I had a dance studio in there just 6 years ago. Inspired Arts Academy was there, never had any problems. I even had a gun store in there if somebody wanted to complain, and nobody complained. If somebody asked me right now, am I B2, B3, I honest to goodness don't know. So everyone who has complained obviously knows zoning. The problem I have is a guy named Gabriel Casey came to all of you 3 years ago and wanted a gaming store. And so you granted his wish. So he has a gaming store in my building, and what he did is gaming. Parents paid, dropped off their children, they played a game, the parents came and picked them up. I have a trouble seeing what's the difference between parents dropping off children to play games versus parents dropping off children to pay for dance. To me, those two things are the same. They're both parents who are paying to play a sport. I think you have a bigger problem, to be quite honest, and I'm showing my age now and that I was a teacher here in District 709. Gabe has now sold his business to Travis and Lynn, who are fantastic people, but they are redoing the building at 120 South Main. You're going to have, she's right there, it's congested. You all know the area that we're talking about, right? And so he's going to have this gaming in that parking lot, here and again with children. Gabe used to tell me on the weekends they have tournaments, so it's for older children, sometimes who drive. They don't come and just get dropped off to do a dance or something. They stay all evening. So if you're trying to alleviate part of the congestion and the stuff on Jefferson Street, you should be really glad that she's coming over on Main Street. And you can tell I'm a teacher, because here I have a little handout for you all. This is a map of my building, and you'll see Main Street. Herb Roth is across the street from me, which I think you all have named as historic.
Please get me if you don't have enough.
Well, I had 8. I thought there was only 8 of you, so I'm sorry. I think somebody should use 8, so I apologize. Anyway, if you'll see on the building, somebody said they were afraid because of all the congestion on Main Street would be too much. Well, why I made this map out, I do a little arrow, and for the congestion, you can drive on Main Street. If you're afraid of the kids getting hurt, which I can understand, they can just drive straight through the parking lot and go out on First Street, so that alleviates that. I have 28, and I also put that on the map, I have 28 parking places that I own that go to my building, okay, and that's not counting what Dean Grimm used to tell me was the easement and all that nice parking, which to be honest, should go with that fabulous park that you all put in. That's not even counting all those. That's just the 28 that I own that's around my building that they can park at. So I would think by letting her come to Main Street, she's going to alleviate a lot of the traffic on Jefferson Street that everybody seems to be so concerned about. And like I said, Herb is across the street. it's dead. I mean, it's historical, nobody's there. There's another parking lot across the street. Nobody even uses it. And the other thing I kind of like to bring up, I've had this building 45 years, and may I say, retail right now between the pandemic and Amazon, it is extremely hard to make it in retail. I would love if Witzig's and Mavis and if all the stores were back on. You people have got to, now I'm sounding like a mother, so I'm sorry, but you people have got to start working with we people who own buildings, or we're going to have a ghost town. And we don't just want, I guess service is the only thing that is, hair salon, nail salon, but a lady came to me with spa, and Brad said I couldn't even do a spa. I'm zoned wrong for that. And so you've got to help us out a little bit, or else we're just going to be a ghost town, because retail, like, what is it, Funky Pumpkin, I believe is the name, the clothing store on Main, she's closing, because she's not making it. So it's just, I would appreciate if you would work with us instead. Like right now, I feel like you're trying to throw a roadblock for Amy to get her out. And now I'm really going to sound stupid, but before I had children, I taught in District 709. I was very condemning of divorced people, because I do feel like when parents fight, the children are the ones who fall through the cracks and get hurt. Right now, I feel somebody's got a vendetta either against me or against Amy, and that's why they came to you, because the zoning, like I said, in 45 years, nobody has ever even come to me personally and said, Ann, what are you doing? So I feel like by this fighting and listening to who it is that's complaining, it's the children who are going to get hurt. And in my opinion, we are so blessed to be in a community where people can afford and are willing to pay for private dance. That's expensive. My son lives in Naperville and has 3 kids on the volleyball team. What he pays for traveling volleyball and stuff, it blows my mind. So we should be very thankful that we have parents who are willing to put out the money for their children instead of try to discourage them. And yes, you could put her in B3 or whatever, but I will say I've had 3 businesses that have left me in the last 40 years. They've gone out to B3s because the rent is much cheaper. They go out of business within a year. So, you know, if we want to keep downtown thriving, I don't understand why you're trying to get rid of somebody who has children that can come down. The parents can go to the park. They can park at my place. Nobody will kick them out of my parking lot. Or else, like I said, you've got the whole park where your wonderful park is that they could go to. The other thing, somebody did tell me that there's something called a zone variance, but I feel like I'm at the wrong meeting since you all aren't the zone committee. But you said I'm at the right meeting, so I guess I don't know. So thank you for your time. And you can't give me feedback, or I can't answer questions or anything, right? You guys can't talk, right? Just let the women talk. Okay, is there anything else I should do? Should I leave? Do I stay? Yeah, good, Jeff, thank you.
No, I mean, if somebody has something to say, they'll say it. Otherwise, they'll talk amongst themselves and
Okay.
see what they want to do.
Then what is the next step I have to do?
You could either apply for zoning or
I could apply for zoning. I don't understand. I am
variance for zoning.
or variance for zoning.
If I could suggest, usually any response from the village, to the extent the village has any response, would come outside of the meeting. Brad can answer questions or give you feedback to supplement what he already has on what options are available.
Brad at the
Marks-
city?
Brad Marks,
Yep.
right over there. So outside of the meeting, he can give you answer
You know, I was
questions.
thinking you were a policeman. I'm so sorry, Brad. Okay, because Brad just kept telling me
I do a
he
lot of
works
things.
for you and you got it. He can't tell me, so that's why I'm here. So what did you just say about Brad now that I know that Brad's here?
I said your options, Brad can respond to you individually to answer any questions you have on what procedural options you have to bring a request before the plan commission or zoning board. And if a trustee, based on our comment rules, if a trustee has a response, or the village has any response, you could expect to receive that outside of the meeting.
Okay, so Brad, if I go to the zoning, Brad is the one who tells me to go, or do I have to come and ask for permission? How does that work, Brad?
We can have a discussion. I can explain the options to apply for rezoning. If I believe that's what you're inquiring, to apply for your property to be rezoned.
We don't have much on the agenda tonight, so if you want to wait till the end of the meeting, you can talk to Brad. and he'll
Well, I
bring
hate to
up-
tell you, I kind of have talked to him about 4 times, and he keeps telling me I need to talk to you guys. You're his boss. I must have heard that 100 times. You're his
Well,
boss.
he can tell you how to do the variance.
Okay, the variance, okay. Is the variance different than getting rezoned from like B2 to B3?
Yeah, you don't, you're not what you're asking for is not a variance, it'd actually be super technical and zoning wording. Brad can go through options with you, but it'd be a rezoning would be the only option that would, or a change to the zoning ordinance that would be responsive to your concern.
Okay, thank you. I have to tell you all, it was a joke when I first had the building, because I thought I was B3, because when I used to go to DBA, which is Downtown Business Association, which was before you guys were even born, it was funny because Mr. Shoemaker, who owned Ben Franklin, they were all arguing about who should pay for snow and what snow with Witzig's, and when we were all there, finally Mr. Shoemaker said, "Ann, do you have a comment?" And I just laughed and said, "No, I'm on the wrong side of the tracks." That's when the railroad tracks were there, and I paid for my own snow plow, so maybe I need to go back to the wrong side of the tracks and be free. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to make a comment? If not, the consent agenda tonight is the regular meeting, September 6th, 2022, and the approval of the bills. If we could have a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Menold,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The only thing I have tonight is to thank the Morton community and all the volunteers in the chamber for putting on a fabulous pumpkin festival. Had a large turnout and very well organized. And all the departments from police, fire, public works, I mean, they were all over cleaning it up. I actually went to my shop 4 o'clock Saturday morning. I forgot my buckets for the parade candy. And the street sweeper was out at 4 o'clock. Brad Marks was out cleaning the plaza. And another gentleman, Seth Webb, was picking up the garbage. There was no garbage downtown anywhere. So 4 o'clock, they were getting ready for another thousands of people for the parade. So thanks to all of them, but it was everybody really cooperated, and all the volunteers, the citizens. So thank you. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
chief of police,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
corporation counsel,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
director of public works,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
and zoning and code enforcement.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village trustees, anybody have anything? If not, could we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.